That boy who used to spend days in the garage with only his imagination and a couple hand tools has gotten lost in the grind of the real world. I think it's time we find him. First off, thank you. Thank you for all that watch and for those that have subscribed. 2 weeks in and we're nearly halfway there. Halfway to the point that YouTube says, hey, you're a real channel now. And that's all because of you. If you haven't subscribed, please consider. It's the only way we can grow. All right, all begging aside, let's get right to it. This week's project is another farmhouse decor item. A country influenced crate, a mixture of stain and paint, and I think she came out beautiful. We need two 2x4s at 16 inches and 4 at 9. At the table saw, set the featherboard to 3/8 inch. I do this all the time when ripping thin slats. This way, after the cut, all you do is move the fence over until the wood hits the featherboard again, and then cut. It's not perfect, but so far it's done me well. I ripped thin slats off the 2x4s, 11 of them. I should get 7 per board so we can pick and choose which to use at the end. Look, if you get down to the end and it gives you the weebie-jeebies with the last one being so thin, just lower the blade to halfway through the piece and then run the last one through, flip it over and run it again. I do this all the time versus trying to squeeze my push stick in between the blade and the fence. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with. Respect the blade and hopefully it will respect you. Next, I take one of the 9-inch 2x4s, lay it down flat and rip the round edges off. We're shooting for 3 inches here, and then I stand it up and rip them in half, creating two 9-inch pieces of roughly 3/4 inch stock. Yeah, I know. Curve of the blade will put it about 16 inch under. That's fine, it's free, we can live with it. Rinse and repeat for a second 9-inch 2x4. The remaining 2x4s we repeat the process, but this time keep the stock at 3 1/4 and rip the planks to 3/8 inch. I sanded the slats down at the Wen to 120 and then gave them my usual 150 grip by hand. This works well for me. At glue up we go for 4 panels, 2 from the 3/4 inch stock and 2 from the 3/8. Look, they're a little bit rough at this point. Hopefully you can't see just how rough, but I'm thinking, or hoping, when sanded they'll come out just fine. And they do. I could have used actual 3/4 inch stock here or plywood, but, well, I had the 2x4s and apparently I'm a glutton for punishment. Put some glue on them, clamp them, wipe the glue and check for squarish. Drop a couple weights on them. All dried up and rough sanded, we mark out the heart. This is the same process to last week's sconces. I think there's a link floating up above somewhere if I figured out how to do it yet. Anyways, I take the 3/8 inch stock, mark it at 4.5 inches, and draw a line down the middle. Using my 1, 2, 3 block, I draw parallel lines, one on each side. Then I drop down 2 inches from the top and mark the drill holes on that line. Check the diagram floating around. At the drill press, I drill the holes out using a 2-inch Forstner bit, creating the top of the heart. Then I move to the scroll saw. Here I finish the bottoms of the heart by extending the lines from the widest part of the curves down to the middle line. You could do this easily enough with a coping saw as well. I think they came out great this time. A little filing, some sanding, and done. Smooth. I paint the 3/8 inch stock with 3 coats of country white, sanding slightly between each coat. And then we glue up again. The idea here is pretty simple. We take the 3/8 inch heart stock and glue over top the 3/4. And since the 3/4 stock is a 1/2 inch shorter, we end up with this nice little ledge, and the ledge will hold the bottom slats, tucking them safely underneath, giving us a really nice clean look in the end. I've already stained the backs, so moving on to the fronts. I skipped the pre-stain conditioner here, not because I'm lazy, but I want a more rustic look. And well, sometimes it works a little too well. removing all the variations of the grain, blending it to a blob. And honestly, I like the knots in the grain, so I'll take a little blotchy anytime. I'm using special walnut here, the same as I did beneath the hearts. Also, I'm going to go pretty quick here. Wipe no more than a couple minutes after applying, so it comes out a beautiful medium brown. In the end, I finally decided making the ends completely white all the way around. I had toyed with the idea of just white fronts and staining all over, but I wanted a little more white, and, well, if truth be told, my glue-ups, they may have left a little to be desired this time around. And paint hides defects where stain has a way of highlighting them. So here we are, all white all the way around, except that heart and special walnut. It's striking. Wait until we get the slats on and we hit it with the poly. I'm going to go 3 slats per side, roughly 3/4 inches apart or so. I'll adjust as needed. A little glue, probably not enough now that I look at it, but come on. I really hate excess glue squeeze out. And 2 brads on each slat. One side down, I flip it over and repeat, then move on to the bottom. Now I'm going to custom cut the bottom. I knew they were going to be too long at 16, but there was no way I was going to trust cutting them before I had to. Even then, I creeped up on the lines. 5 slats here, evenly spaced, roughly 7/16, a little glue, and 2 brads. We'll finish it all with a couple coats of poly. Wow. Yeah, this came out gorgeous. I love the colors, the shape. What am I going to use it for? No idea. None. That was part of the problem, I think. Without a purpose, I didn't know what size to make it. But I mean, I think my wife will find something for it, or maybe one of my daughters will snag it for the dorm. Either way, I got out and I made something this week. Cost-wise, nothing really. Some brad, some stain, some paint, pennies. But if you had to buy it, I used just about 6 feet of 2x4, so that would be $3 worth of wood. And I think it looks great. I'm not going to lie to you. Between sanding the slats and the painting and the staining, remember, it's all 4 sides on the slats because there's no bad side to hide. It took some time. So if you're going to sell it, just keep that in mind. Time is money. As always, thank you all for watching, and please like, subscribe, and comment anything and everything. I truly like hearing from you. Until the next time.